What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ICNV Drivers Edition. Sometimes you have to be man enough or big enough to admit when you're wrong. And have you ever heard the phrase, have a slice of humble pie? Well, sometimes you have to really get a big slice and enjoy it. So let's talk about why I'm taking a slice of humble pie and being man enough to admit I'm wrong. But I guess the real question is, was I really wrong? Let's talk about it. I have a few people from overseas that tune in from time to time or actually watch the channel, and they've actually supported the channel as well. So they've bought some merchandise, a couple t-shirts and things like that. So I do appreciate your support, and I just want to say thank you. And for those of you that want to support the channel, check out the website, get some merchandise. We would greatly appreciate any purchases that you make. Now, going forward with this, and why I'm having a slice of humble pie is GM. I see a lot of people sitting out here commenting on things like the production of cars and so forth, and they want to come out and say that the front will be lost for the E-Ray and things of that nature. Well, I'm here to be honest with you, and to be honest with you is, have you ever really looked at the front of your car from underneath? There is space inside the wheel wells to accommodate some electric motors. So I don't think the front will be lost. There is also a wider body kit that goes on it, which creates another additional 4 inches. But I'm saying all this to you because people talk about these cars coming in production as if GM didn't know they were going to make them, or this was some last minute decision. And what I want you to understand is that all of these cars were already in thought almost 10 years ago. So they designed the C8 with all these future cars in mind. And not only did they design the C8 with all these future cars in mind, they already had some form of production or engineering in mind when they put them out, or before the C8 ever came out. So what you see now is nothing's really going to change, or I expect anything to be lost just because they do a little bit more production. And I know you're sitting there saying, how does this come into the humble pie conversation? Well, I did release a video a while back saying that an electric car GM was making burned to the ground. Now, unless you have some other information that you can please share with me, and I appreciate it, I haven't seen any information from GM actually coming out and verifying that car that burned to the ground was actually the E-Ray. And a few weeks back, I also was talking about the hybrid platform car, or the Z06. Let me rephrase that. A few weeks back, I was talking about the Z06. And what I was saying about the Z06, or at least in the video, was that the Z06 was out being tested against the Ferrari 458 and the Porsche GT2 RS and a few of those cars. But what actually happened was, one of the people from overseas commented and said, no, it's not the 458. GM was testing it against the SF90 Ferrari Stradale, or should I say Stradale? I'm not a Ferrari person, so don't crucify me for it. But that's what I was told. And I told the person he was wrong, and he said no. They've seen the car out with the Corvettes being driven around, and GM engineers are in the SF90 Ferrari Stradale. I didn't really get into an argument with him. I just told him he was wrong. Well, here's where the humble pie comes in. Corvette blogger actually released information a day or two ago stating that GM engineers are out driving the Ferrari SF90 Stradale. But here's my thing. They also stated that they believe it's being tested against the E-Ray and Zora. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I would scratch the E-Ray. And I would say the car is actually being tested against Zora. The SF90 is a 900, almost 1,000 horsepower car. It's a hybrid with between electric and gas engine, and it puts out close to 1,000 horsepower. It's also a base price $500,000 car, but most of them are optioned out to the mid 700s, low 8s. So it's a very expensive car. And the reason why we're talking about this is because, like I mentioned before, and I want people to understand this, GM doesn't test vehicles the year before they bring them out. They test vehicles years before they bring them out. And that's why I feel like the car that burned to the ground, it may not have been the E-Ray. It may have been one of the first versions of the Zora. And I'm saying this to you because, like I said, GM never came out and verified that the car that burned to the ground was the E-Ray, but it was a hybrid platform car. Now, here's the issue that I want to get across to a lot of people. That, one, I don't feel like this late in the game, and I'm saying that right now, this late in the game, that the E-Ray would still be heavily camouflaged. Just like, because they announced it was coming. So if we believe the E-Ray is next and is going to fill the Grand Sport spot in the Corvette C8 lineup, I don't feel like it would be that heavily camouflaged, because pretty much it's going to have the same body as the Z06 minus the center exhaust. At least that's what we're being told, or that's the guesstimation or the prediction. Now, that goes back to one thing too, because I know a lot of people like the center exhaust and they believe that the ZR1 is going to have a center exhaust. But there's nothing that states the ZR1 or Zora will have a center exhaust. So what we truthfully may be seeing is a heavy camouflage version of Zora being tested, or even the ZR1. And I think this is what's truly going on. And that's why the only logical sense that makes to me is that if you're testing a hybrid car, especially one of the caliber of the SF90 Ferrari, you gotta be looking at Zora. And here's my thing. If that's the car they're targeting, I can only tell you that Zora is going to be a crazy car. And I know people are going to complain, because it's probably going to start somewhere around $200,000, if not $250,000. Those are my predictions already, and we shouldn't be having this conversation. But I just feel like that's a given. So they're targeting a $500,000 car, and it's probably going to start at half the cost. I can't wait to see what it does. I can't wait to see what the Zora actually comes out, looks like, and how it performs. But I will tell you this. There are many videos on the SF90, and if you want to see a really good one, Jay Leno's Garage has a good one. And my thoughts is if GM can get somewhere near the same engineering as the Ferrari, but I can tell you one thing, they're probably going to use more horsepower from their V8. So if they can get somewhere near what Ferrari is putting out in that SF90, but it also makes me sit there and say too, that the SF90 does 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. The Z06 is supposed to do it in 2.6. Just think about that. We have a vehicle already coming out that's a naturally aspirated gas engine that's pretty much knocking on the door of hypercar performance, at least in the 0-60 times. It's going to be an amazing performing vehicle anyway. But I just wanted to get that out there because the future of the C8 is looking very bright, and I'm sure we got some things on the horizon that we aren't even prepared for. While the world is focusing on the Z06, GM is slowly behind your back, or right in your face, as many people would say, showing you what's next. While everybody's still sitting here trying to figure out how they gonna get their hands on the Z06, they're working on Zora right behind you, right in front of your eyes. But here's the thing, we already know that everybody's not going to be able to afford Zora. This isn't going to be an average Joe car. This car is going to be something spectacular, special, and not for the mass. It's going to be something that only a few people have, and everybody hears as a mystical legend. I can't wait to see what's next on the horizon for the C8, because I want to see if the E-Ray actually lives up to the hype, and I want to see what the ZR1 does. But for now, I guess we're all going to keep focusing on this Z06, but there's other stuff on the horizon, so you may want to skip this car, you may not. But that's all I want to talk about. ICNV Drives Edition. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, share the video. For all my ICNV Drive Edition community, thank you for tuning in. For those that haven't joined yet, subscribe to the channel, join the community. We have great topics. Like I said, I comment when you guys talk to me, I respond. So until next time, I'll see you in these videos. Stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you in the streets. Peace. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook. Again, ICNV Drive Edition. Stay blessed, be safe. I'll see you in these streets, and Chevy is coming.